Hey everyone, welcome to r/Tales from Tech Support, where we get to have a little chuckle at the technologically disadvantaged. Like me. I'm Uncle Reddit, and have I got a story for you. Search and destroy. I recently started a new office job. I was told certain documents I'd need were available on the company website. One document is a customer request form for files on a CD. We use that about 50 times a day, so I need to print them a lot. The document can be found from the company website's homepage by typing CD in the search bar. The whole thing is surprisingly well indexed. My boss has a 30-step process for finding that same document. It involves opening a Word document where a direct link is saved and using that link as a template to follow. She doesn't click the link. She types the companywebdomain.com into her browser and clicks through all the sublinks to open the right page by drilling down from the home page. Whereas I can print 50 pages before she can open the document. The other day she handed me a different document and asked me to photocopy it. I asked, "Is this also on the company website?" "Yes," she replied, "but it's too hard to find, so I just keep recopying this copy." There was a document number, 3817, on the bottom of the page. I told her to type 3817 in the search bar. It came right up. She was like, "How did you do that?" I worry that teaching her search skills will destroy my job by making her more competent. Well, I'm not that worried. Yeah, I've had a lot of bosses who tend to make things way more complicated than they really need to be. At least she didn't argue with you about it. Standing up to a difficult client. So, I'm not going to write a whole mini-play here, but just give you the gist. I work help desk in healthcare, and a caller who works with our company calls in for temporary credentials for a contractor. We of course have pretty strict rules about this kind of thing because it gives someone access to our system. I have to send the credentials to him, and they have to be encrypted. He asked me to send them directly to a third party, and I inform him that I normally can't do that, and will look for a solution. He proceeds to call back 3 times, berate me, threaten to get his liaison involved, report me, wants to speak to my supervisor, wants my full name, on and on. I'm very proud of myself for standing my ground and not caving because, of course, this is what social engineers want you to do. Not saying he was a bad actor, he probably was just a very entitled person, but it is what it is. I talked it over with my supervisor and came to a solution that got him the info he wanted, while not compromising our security protocols. It only took about 10 minutes altogether, and it would have taken even less time if he had stopped calling me back, something I informed him of during our last conversation. His response, screaming, "So this is my fault now?" How charming. I documented the situation out of the wazoo and CC'd the team lead on the email in an extreme case of CYA, but yeah, yelling doesn't get us to do exactly what you say, buddy. That's not how this works. Gotta love narcissistic people who think that they're more important than you and they know better than you, and increasing their volume somehow is going to make you magically jump through all the hoops that they want you to jump through, no matter what the security protocols are. Because they're special. The changed Windows appearance. This is a fairly short story, but I found the incident amusing. I'm currently in training in IT and therefore often get assigned quite different tasks. So I got this ticket forwarded where someone from the first level support has bitten his teeth. Maybe the trainee finds the error. According to the user description, the issue was there after a Windows update. Apparently, the view of the graphic user interface elements of Windows has changed. When I had now connected via support software, indeed the view was something very strange. Font was green, the taskbar was divided into black boxes with white borders, especially the green font of the search bar label caught my eye. I had seen this somewhere before. Perhaps you can already think where this leads. Anyway, the user had managed to activate the High Contrast Display option of Windows without knowing it. You can activate it from the lock screen by clicking on the corresponding Ease of Access icon. Thus, after disabling and restarting the PC, the view was back to normal, and the user was happy. Ticket closed and time for the weekend. It was a Friday. Sounds like another instance of fat fingering or messing with things that you shouldn't be messing with. Is your num lock on? Recently, I was on a call with my program manager, PM, and her support person, SP. PM is nearing 70 and not technical at all. SP is a know-it-all. I'm a software engineer. Edit for clarity. SP does admin, and whatever work PM gives him is not actually tech support. When we get on the call, PM mentions she's having a lot of trouble with her laptop this morning and sounds close to tears. I ask a few basic questions like, what's it doing? She explains that when she types letters, she gets numbers. Apparently, SP told her to restart the machine multiple times, but it didn't help. He's been trying to help her for about 30 minutes now. He then says that she needs her keyboard replaced. This upsets her more because getting that replaced where we work could take weeks. Me, what happens when you type O? PM, I get a 6. Me, your numbers lock is on. I then explain how to shut off numlock. It takes all of 1 minute to diagnose the problem, explain how to fix it, and test it. PM is thrilled and SP shuts up for the first time in his life. It was a nice meeting. I'm not sure what kind of machine this is on. It sounds like some sort of cell phone or PDA. Pretty sure on a computer or laptop that doesn't happen, does it? I mean, my numbers lock is on right now and I don't get numbers for letters. What do you guys think? Plagued by villainous restarts. Dramatis personae? Me, bumbling amateur not actively working in the IT field. Friend, buddy who built his first rig with advice and guidance from yours truly. Cat equals villain. As it's a holiday weekend, 4-day, 40-hour weeks. I was off today, and I got a phone call from my friend. Friend, hey, could you come over today? I'm having trouble with my new rig. It keeps randomly restarting. Me, sure, I'll be right over. I arrived and did the quick basic troubleshooting, looking for issues like poorly seated cooler or blocked ventilation causing overheating. Nothing. Me, well, I don't see anything obvious, and I had nothing going on today. Is it okay if I hang out and see if we can replicate the issue? Friend, sure, it usually happens while I play Path of Exile. He loads PoE and plays for a few hours while we shoot the bull about life, the universe, and everything. He was even kind enough to offer me a towel as I didn't have one. Suddenly, heavy rain when it had been just drizzle all day. As the day progresses, he's having no issues whatsoever. I prepare to pack it up and call it Gremlins when in walks his girlfriend's cat, Villain. Villain is an all-black cat with white eyebrows that gave him a permanent evil look. I pet and play with Villain for a while to kill a little more time. As I go to leave, Villain wanders off, attracted by something. Me, does Villain usually hang around your rig like that? Friend, yeah, why? Cat, click. Me, he seems to like the lights on your power and reset buttons, and he just hit your reset button. I then spent a few minutes removing the front cover of his case to remove the swirling lights around the buttons, so Villain is no longer attracted to the motion. Yep, gotta watch light up things and cursors and all that. Cats can be pretty curious. Old lady conquers the modern smartphone for the first time. So I was working the cash register the other day. I work in a really small store, so we don't get a lot of customers. When a sweet old lady approached me, staring at her phone in confusion. Old lady, excuse me, I've just missed a call from my husband and I don't know how to call him back. Do you mind showing me how? There was no one in the store, so of course I said yes. Sure. Cue 10 minutes of me explaining how to view missed calls and return them to no avail. We got there eventually, though. She went outside for a few minutes and came back in with such a proud look on her face that she'd conquered the technology and spent her whole time in the store thanking me profusely for the help. Not the biggest win, but it really cheered me up and made the best out of a really long and tiring day. Well, that was sweet. I can see where that would be confusing, though, if you've never used a smartphone before. My dad would never switch from a flip phone to a smartphone for those very reasons. He knew what he was doing on the other phone, and all he needed to do was make phone calls. Why change, you know? Universal Computer Troubleshooting Step 3. In the early 2000s, I worked for a small telecom company. I managed servers and such, but also served as point of escalation for the desktop support techs. My office was a small conference room, so techs would routinely bring the malfunctioning computer into my office for some help. One tech brought over a user's laptop because the chap had called in a problem with the display. She was trying to update the device driver but couldn't get to the internet. I walked her through a few things, then asked her to open a command prompt and ping the router IP. She glared at me, huffed, and with a rather condescending tone told me, "I need you to focus here. He doesn't need us to use this ping thing. I need to get on the internet to download a driver. Can you help me or not?" Which, yeah, unfortunately, not wasn't an option. I told her to reboot. This was way before the computers managed hot docking, undocking well. and she was astonished that it all magically started working again. How exactly someone managed to work in desktop support for years without developing their own list like 1. Retry, 2. Restart app, 3. Reboot, to run through on every computer problem ever, I have no idea. Well, OP, that's called bad training from the start, and people starting to do things wrong and nobody correcting them, and the old, well, that's the way I've always done it. I want only the internet on my TV to work. A year ago, I did tech support for a TV company that also handled internet. I was part of something called the Advanced Resolution Team, meaning I had the power of a manager, credits, extra offers, and such. Without the pay, but got all the angry people who continued to call in. One day I got a call from a customer saying he was not able to download a show on his TV to play it back, and his TV apps were not working. I go through all the normal questions. Is everything else working? Is it only affecting internet-related TV items? So on and so forth. I began my flow for internet issues and do the basic troubleshooting when I asked him to check his router and tell me what he saw. There are no lights on my router. Okay, let's reset your router. 4 minutes later I asked if he saw any lights, and he said he still saw no lights. Alright sir, is anything else in your home experience internet issues? He mentions the Wi-Fi on his phone isn't working and neither is the internet on the computer. I halt my troubleshooting and explain I must transfer him over to our internet department due to his internet being down and his router not working properly. The man began to laugh. I don't care if anything else has internet, I just want my TV to have internet. I let out a sigh. I knew this was going to be a battle. I explained with his router not showing lights, his internet was down and we could not put only internet on his TV since his internet itself was not working. He got irritated and told me I didn't want to help him and only wanted to pass him off because I didn't know how to do my job. Again, I explained I can only troubleshoot TV tech issues, and because of it being the internet department needed to further assist him. At this point, I'm so aggravated and have been getting yelled at for 7 straight minutes about how he only needs the internet on his TV and we control the internet. My supervisor comes over due to my call time being high at this point. After 15 minutes, we would get a check-in. I explain the issue and their only resolution is to be a broken record. After 10 more minutes of explaining I can't magically turn on the internet for only his TV, I cold transferred him to the internet department, took off my headset, and sat under my desk for the next 5 minutes. I definitely think service providers really, especially for older customers, need to start explaining at the time they set up the equipment in the customer's house, sort of a basic rundown of how internet works. It's sort of like water coming into your house. Okay, so maybe you don't care if the tub fills up or the toilet flushes, but you want water out of your kitchen sink. Well, if the water to the house is shut off, you're not going to get any of it. Maybe something like that. But how do I use this website in Firefox? I had a professor who swore there was an invisible hook on to the door to his classroom. Some people, upon walking through the door, had their common sense snagged, and while he was certain they were clever enough outside of his cursed classroom, they became brain dead upon entry. Sometimes my mom gets like that with computers. My mom liked to keep track of the pollen forecast. The forecast page at some point stopped rendering well in Internet Explorer. Not a big surprise. MS isn't even developing the program anymore. I suggested she use Firefox instead. How, she asked, do you use the page in Firefox? So I copied the URL from the IE bookmark, opened it in Firefox, and saved the bookmark. Okay, she asked. Then what? I don't know. I alt-tabbed back to IE and asked her what she did next there. Click on this. Okay, alt-tab back to Firefox and showed her that she could still click on that. Then what, she asked. I spent 15 minutes alt-tabbing between the two browsers so she could show me how to use the page in IE so I could show her how to use it in Firefox. Never once did she realize I was telling her exactly whatever she just told me. To avoid repeat performances, I changed the bookmark so it went directly to the pollen and allergy forecast instead of the weather site's main page. She ended the day thinking Firefox was much better for seeing the pollen forecast because one click opened what she wanted. Yeah, you were definitely better off just setting it up with a one-click deal. Otherwise, you would have been reteaching that over and over and over. The internet still works if you turn it off, right? I work in tech and did desk-side support for years. However, this story isn't about me. It's about my wife's conversation with her mother 5 minutes ago. Short and sweet. W equals wife, M equals mother-in-law. Mother-in-law. I'm not getting emails in Gmail. On my phone. Something's wrong with my account. Wife, that's odd. Check your spam folder. Maybe they're going there. Mother-in-law, no, I can't check my spam folder. That's not working either. Wife, what do you mean? Just select the spam folder and you'll see whatever spam is in there. Mother-in-law, but when I click on it, it says no connection. Wife, are you connected to the internet? Double check that you're connected to your Wi-Fi. Mother-in-law, I don't have Wi-Fi where I am. Wife, where are you? Mother-in-law, I'm on the bus. Wife, okay, but you have data. If you're not at home, then you're on data, so you have internet. Mother-in-law, oh, it won't let me. Wife, did you disable internet access if you're not on Wi-Fi again? Mother-in-law, frustrated noises. You're not listening to me, and hangs up. She's always going into her settings and messing with things she doesn't understand. She's not usually this bad, but once in a while I get good stories. Yeah, that sounds like something that she's either going to have to learn on her own through trial and error, or you're just going to have to keep talking her through it. Certain concepts are just beyond some people and just too abstract. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. If you enjoyed this content, would you do me a favor? Would you consider giving this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and maybe click that little bell icon so you don't miss the fat guy with the beard telling you stories. See ya!